Let's go. I do also have milk in the fridge, but you know, I'm dedicated, but I'm not a sociopath. Why did we have to go there? And I normally love to go there. I don't walk there, I run, but... Would you say this is a small carrot? Why, Momo? This is just sugar. Oh, excuse you. It was disturbing, but somehow very scarily easy to understand. And that's terrifying. It ain't looking like much currently. This is a very booger texture. Like, I think it's mauve, but whatever. Uh-oh. Hello, welcome to another color wheel besides my TBR and life month experiment experience. If you missed the first one, it was a lot of fun. You guys seem to enjoy it as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You guys also seem to want me to do a part 2. So welcome to part 2. I asked my Patreons from a bunch of options of what I should do in January, and they've decided on this, so really it's thanks to them. Or it's because of them, depends on how this goes. It's currently the 2nd of January, so I'm kind of one day late, but you know, it's fine. Happy New Year. And the way this works is that I have an app on my phone that I have made a color wheel on. This is how it looks like. And then I click spin on it and it lands on a color. Then according to that color, I will pick a book with a set color cover. And then throughout my time reading it, I will also make an attempt of living by that color. So maybe eating something that is primarily that color, or maybe doing an activity that I personally would associate with that color. It might be a bit more difficult during winter time, but we'll see. Without further ado, let's do our first spin. Let's go. It's white. Okay, we can try and find a white book. I don't have a set plan, but I do have a yellow thing that I need to read for the book club. I'm also working with a company that I agreed to work before I knew I'm gonna do this video, but I'm really praying we get either pink or purple. Cream maybe would also fit, because I really want to do that as the activity part of it, and then it obviously fits into the video really well, so it's like 2 birds, 1 stone. So we're fingers crossed for those colors as well. It's in a box, and I'm specifically waiting for this video and my luck to hopefully unpack and construct it. But anyway, let me go check what we have for options. I was really hoping for an audiobook, but then I saw this. I'm gonna count it as white for the sake that the background is pure white, but I remember that I actually haven't read the new Saga volume, and I really should. Saga is a very, very popular comic, so you probably know what it's about, but it's basically a space Romeo and Juliet. This is volume 10. I was extremely into it at some point. But over the years, like, I caught up, and then they released it quite slowly, and I think I lost my interest just a tiny bit. And I think they're going on a hiatus after this one, so it's, you know, but I do want to read it and see how I feel. The last one was very emotional, but I actually didn't get that emotional, so I'm just checking if I was broken or if I continue to be a little bit apathetic to it. So I guess we're reading this, but because this is fairly short, I'm wondering what I can do that's white. Okay, well, I am by my wardrobe looking for something white to wear, and I am hungry, so I'm going to go and find the whitest thing I can eat. I considered Googling it, but I don't think the results would be what I'm looking for. The white things are the closest to white that I found in the kitchen at this late hour of night were ramen noodles, which I know lean towards, like, you know, more beige, light yellow, but it's fine. We're gonna count it. And also, you know, egg to go on top of that. I will add a tiny bit of color just because I don't want it to be like a very depressing food, but we're doing it. We're doing it. It's, you know, egg be white. Also mayo. Mayo is also white. Garlic, also white. I do also have milk in the fridge, but you know, I'm dedicated, but I'm not a sociopath. So I finished it. Yesterday we actually had a power outage, which was funny. It was in the middle of me reading this, so that was quite sad. Not even in the middle, towards the end, which is worse. And you know, it started a little bit slow interest wise, and then we got a little bit of like nudity and stuff, and I was like, well, it kind of worked years ago when it was like a bit more like shock value, but I thought it was like, oh, it kind of got old. But then very quickly after, I must say, I really got back into it. And I remember the characters, I remember why I really enjoyed it, and it was, if anything, it was just easy, and I didn't want to put it down. I don't even think this is necessarily a very action-packed issue at all, or volume, but it really made me care about the characters more. It helps that they have aged up as well, like it helps to me. And if anything, I think that the world we are in feels so extremely effortlessly real, and I think that's one of the things that I really admire about the series. It just feels like we're in there, and I don't even question it. Despite the most bizarre species, it just feels tangible, and I really appreciated that. So it came out as a 4.4 or 4.5, so I'd say it's a very good start. I've not enjoyed a comic so like effortlessly in a while, and I really missed that, so it's a bit of a shame, but it's also good that I have that. And you know how I said they're gonna go on a hiatus? I remembered to check that, and actually that was kind of like old news that was true when they released this, which now actually is quite a while ago, and they just happened to come back this month. I don't really read these by issue, so I know the issues are probably gonna obviously come out first, but I'm gonna wait for the volume. But overall, I'm assuming it's not gonna be as long of a wait for that. Maybe I even fuck around with an issue, I don't know. But our first read done, and it's a good one. I'm enjoying it. It's fun being back. I like the decision that they went with, because the way that it ended last time, I was a tiny bit, despite of the way that it gone, I was still like, oh, are they just gonna do like backpedaling? But I'm glad to see that that's not the case. And we saw some characters from way before when, and it was a good time. Yeah, as you can see, I just washed my hair and I want to sort that, but I usually listen to an audiobook, so we'll see if this is an option. But I also thought it would be fun to just place all of the books that we read in like a shelf to see what type of rainbow we get at the end, if we get far, that is. So let's open this up again and let's see. Oh, hello? I guess it is not meant for us to have exciting colors today. You know what? It's fine. We got this. From my TBR shelf, nonetheless. Well, priority. God, that was a pillow I thought for a second I sat on my cat. But yeah, how high we go in the dark. Actually, very excited about this. I wasn't sure if I'm gonna have any books in black that I was really excited for, but luckily we have the priority shelf to make my life a little bit easier. But this is a sci-fi book, I believe, and it's all about, I think, a virus that comes out of the permafrost. Yeah, no, I'm right. Cool. And then I think it gets really bizarre. And honestly, I'm kind of ready for it. I think at the beginning I was like, you know, reading about a pandemic, living a pandemic, it's all a little bit too much. But now, for some reason, I'm okay with it. So, very excited. Second read, we're getting the reflectors and the eaters of colors first, clearly. And then we can maybe, hopefully, move on to more fun shades, but the white one didn't disappoint, so let's see how this one goes. I am excited. I will start listening to an audiobook whilst I do my hair, and then hopefully at some point I will get back to you. I know some of my patrons really like this book, but I also have not heard extra a lot about it, so I'm going in with pretty like medium expectations, not really expecting anything, so we can swing either way, but I am expecting weirdness. So better deliver on that. Hello, a small update. I'm not far in. I literally listened for like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, but I'm already really enjoying it. It's a very interesting way of storytelling where we really just jump right in, and I think it could be short stories. I'm not quite sure now. I wasn't aware, but I do remember there was like multiple storylines, but I'm not sure. We'll see, I guess. But so it's like chunkier kind of sections of it, but I'm really excited. It seems to be about a father who goes to this expedition place where his daughter passed away. I don't actually know that we know why. Maybe not revealed yet, but there is a body of a young girl that was discovered in like the frost or something like that. It's like a very old one. I do obviously know there's gonna be a virus, so that's gonna be fun. Maybe it's gonna be a generational story because there's a kid of the daughter that's also mentioned. But we really just go right into it. But even in this very, very short time, it made me care about these people. And that is not a small feat, you know? It's not easy to make me feel involved and care about these characters in such an incredibly short time. So I'm impressed. But I've just done a live stream with the Patreons and I'm still wearing my white outfit, so I didn't even change into anything black, which is gonna be a very easy task. Let me tell you, my half of my wardrobe is just black stuff, so that's gonna be easy. I'm thinking of anything that I could do that would fit. The first thing that comes to mind is that I am supposed to crochet a scarf for my dad. The color I chose is black, so I could do that. That wasn't on my radar currently. I'm still working on my mom's one, but I mean, the colors dictate what the colors dictate, and I guess we're gonna do that. Whilst I'll do that, I can obviously listen to the audiobook, so it could be perfect. It's decided. I'm actually on sprints with Patreon just now, but I've just started my activity. It ain't looking like much currently, but hopefully this is going to, you know, look like something else soon. Well, maybe not very soon, but soon-ish. So I have my black yarn, I have my book, which obviously has an audiobook. This is catching up with Momo's hair, so that is not promising. Update. Was totally calm throughout this, definitely didn't have to restart it. Not the book, the scarf. This is where we're at. But we're almost covering a little bit of your neck. So, you know, it's getting there. And in the book, here. So, making good progress and most importantly, really enjoying it. Though I will say, again, if you're really not looking for something that deals a lot with grief and definitely has the themes of viruses and pandemic and COVID is, you know, too touchy, not for you. Do not pick it up. But it's basically told in short stories of different people experiencing this pandemic. It's not COVID though, it's a different one. A worse one, you may say, so far at least. It's definitely gut punching. It's very interesting. It's also very Black Mirror-y. Every chapter is like an episode of Black Mirror. I'm enjoying it, if enjoying is the word to use, because it hurts. But we're dealing a lot with like human emotions and stuff, and that is my jam. That is for me, and it's like it's written beautifully, but it's not written flowery and like, you know, I'ma gobble that up. So far so good. Hoping to get quite a bit of that read tomorrow, I think, because it's getting late. It's almost midnight, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I had such a blast in that stream. It was fun. But I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk to you another time.
I regret letting go. The infant screams, and I begin to sob.
I think I only have 3 stories left, but I did finish my scarf. Let me just, wait. So the scarf is complete for my dad. That's like the end of it is kind of like pointy. Let's try it on. Hey, hope you like it. But that's our project for the book. And if you want a closer look, it's very like airy and light. Yeah, I'm only a couple of stories away from finishing the book and oh my god, I love it. I love it. It's very sad. It's very sad, but I love it. It hurts you so good. Although it's not gotten like extra weird yet, so I'm still expecting something to happen. So I'm not gonna be too like hasty and say it's gonna be a 5-star, but it very much might so far. If we're going the way that we're going. It'll be hilarious if my like best of 2023 read will be read on like the 7th of January. But I will finish it today and we can get on to the next color. But oh, so happy I picked this up. But I again will say, if grief is not a topic you want to deal with currently, which I was not sure that I can, but I could apparently, don't. Don't, because, you know, hello. I have just finished this. I think this is such a compassionate book. I do think it's also not for everyone, just the way it is done. It is essentially a collection of short stories, so keep that in mind. And I don't, like, if I'm honest, I don't think, and I always am, I don't think that they were very consistent. I personally prefer the ones we start with, although I did enjoy every single one of them. I think that some were much stronger. Let me look at the names. I think The City of Laughter, Pig's Son, and I think Life Around the Event Horizon, or was it the one afterwards, were the ones that stood out. But the very last one, I can't believe I will say this because I obviously will not say what it is, but it's unusual for me to not like that direction, but I almost feel like that was quite unnecessary and I would have preferred if we stayed where we were. Like, if the story didn't branch out into that direction, I think it would have been more substantial somehow. Much to think about. I'm not gonna rate this today because I thought it's gonna be like an easy 5-star, but now I'm like, it's at the very least a 4.5 though. So we're not, you know, rethinking things too harshly, but I don't know if this is quite the 5-star. But it's definitely one I will love for a long time, so maybe. But it isn't necessarily super consistent in the short stories thing, which is what short stories kind of do either way. But it's just that very end direction. I'm like, why did we have to go there? And I normally love to go there. I don't walk there, I run, but anyway, it's actually quite late, so I don't think I will start the next book, but I do want to get the color because it's fun and why not. So let's there we go. Ooh, red. So not the purple or pink or yellow that we need, but we go red. That's fine, we can work with red. Okay, I came up with 2 options. As tradition dictates, I feel, dye. Always black and red. So this is volume 4 and I'm excited. I feel like this is gonna be one that really dictates which way the comic goes because I love the first one. I wasn't too bothered about the second one. Then the third one I got kind of back into it. So I feel like the 4th one will let me know how hyped I am for this series truly. Or A Dowry of Blood, which also is kind of like black and red, but it's fine, we're going from black to red, so it makes sense. I think I'm gonna go with dye just because I am very conscious the yellow color, if we get it, is quite big. So I'm gonna go with dye, which in itself actually is quite like a thick for a comic. And if we get a red again, I think it's gonna be this. I'm also not quite sure if like currently, which, you know, my mood can change very quickly, but I don't know if currently I am too into like a gothic vibe. I think the gloom from the previous book will mash well with the gloom we have here because it is quite depresso. Let's go with dye. Hello. You know what's red? YouTube logo. I've just spent, I want to say like an hour filming my stats video and the goals video and planning before that what I'm gonna film for this. So that was my whole day so far, but it is a red activity. I will count it as a red activity. And I'm gonna go have some sort of red food while I get to finally read the comic because again, my whole day was just spent on this and it's already 2:30. Unacceptable. Okay. Well, I'm currently waiting as Luke goes into the shop with the task of getting a bunch of surprise red things. So we'll see what he comes back with. Fingers crossed something good. But it is a surprise. finished Die Volume 4. I actually did not know this was the last volume in the whole series, so was kind of surprised by it ending. But quite glad, because if I'm honest, I don't know if I would have continued, which is sad. It's a bit difficult to rate this because I think that this must be quite a personal story filled with very like deep emotions and concepts from the writer. That being said, I feel like it very much felt like they threw every single theme under the sun into this and just hoped some of them stuck. I feel like they were just so fleeting and there was so much of it. It felt so convoluted that I got tired. I stopped caring so much because it took itself, this feels a bit mean to say, but it took itself very seriously to the point where it was just a bit almost annoying. I really like the ending, and I actually like the little bits that we got from like backflashes and stuff, but it was so incredibly convoluted. There was like a theme upon a theme upon a theme inside this thing, and a lot of it was like open-ended and unsaid, and you're supposed to... It was presented as in like, this is deep, but work for it. And it's not really what I was here for. I still think that Volume 1 was by far the strongest. As soon as we introduced the type of underlying themes, I kind of don't want to say it, I don't think it's a spoiler, but as soon as we introduced that type of overlapping stories within the stories thing trope from the second volume, I think that's where it went down for me. I appreciate the whole concept a lot, and I appreciate the main message about the RPG games, and overall on paper this was supposed to be like my thing. It meshes everything that I like and also combines it with stunning art. Art is what saved this, and the concept, but I just think it was like literally an onion, you know. There were so many layers, but like you're crying because the onion is raw and you can't really see it very clearly. Maybe it's just me not being intellectual enough, but I kind of doubt it. It felt really rushed for a while now, and I think it suffered from that. But again, I still really enjoy what the commentary was trying to do. I definitely don't think I got everything that they were trying to do. I don't even know if anyone else but the creator can get everything they were trying to do. But I just feel like the first one really did it, and then it just went a little bit downhill for me from there. It ended up 3 stars though, so it's not too terrible. I definitely don't think that I regret reading this at all, but I do think I would be in no rush on reading the next one, and I'm almost glad that there isn't one. And I know that sounds terrible, but I just feel like I've gotten everything from the story that I could already get, and everything else is just a weird salad with ingredients that are unknown to most people. I feel like I like the story and I like the, you know, the main moral kind of thing, and it's refreshing seeing main characters be someone who's not in their quote-unquote prime as to what society considers prime and whatnot, you know. And it's lovely to see some of the themes explored that don't necessarily get explored if you're in your 40s and or older, and getting that generational gap in knowledge when it comes to gender. It was really nice, but I think that was really drowned in all of the everything else again that we got thrown into. And I hate saying it, but it felt very try-hard, like super try-hard, not in a kind of natural way where you're just exploring it and it's all kind of nice. It felt clearly try-hard, and that's just not the vibe for me. We're done with this and we get another color, so come on, purple, pink, or yellow. Oh. Pink! Okay, good. We can work with that. Okay, I found my read. So, bear with me now, okay? I'm gonna bend the system, but only slightly, because this is the original cover of it, right? My copy is still with pink, but it is the Fair with Yellow edition. But in the fear that the yellow will not come up, and this is my book club read, and I need to read this month, we're gonna bend the rules slightly for the original cover. But not only that, but when I will read it without the dust jacket, because I'm not a psychopath, it is indeed extremely pink. So I think because, you know, original cover is pink, this cover even has pink, and then the naked hardback is literally pink incarnate. I think that we can count this, and I'm gonna read Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which I'm excited about. I know it's about witches and warlocks and where the government, I don't know if it's secretly, yeah, no, I think it is. Secretly witches basically run the country. I have read, I want to say like 10% of this in the manuscript form, but I want to restart it because it was literally over a year ago, so I remember it actually surprisingly quite well, but I will be restarting it and reading it fully because I have extremely high hopes for this. I thoroughly enjoyed that 10-15% that I read to begin with, so we're off to a good start already, and I know that Patreon's been enjoying it as well from what I can see on Discord. So, we got our next read, very excited. I hope this will be a good one. Also, funny thing, this took me longer than my previous read to actually finish, which is ridiculous because the whole point was like, oh, I'm gonna take a comic so I can get ahead of the schedule, and now I'm not. No, I'm still doing fine. It's fine because it's only 11th of January, but I think it's just funny that I read How High We Go in the Dark quicker than I read this comic. I really was struggling in parts to push through it, which is just not what you want, especially from a comic, I feel. So, but anyway, we move on to this with Pink. Okay, so originally I really wanted to wait for color purple to unpack this item, but honestly it sat there waiting for the cats for a very long time, so I have settled for pink. And as you can see, there are pink details, so you're just gonna work with that. The cats were immediately very much interested in what I'm doing, but anyway, this is actually, believe it or not, probably the most fun sponsorship I've ever had. A company called Happy and Polly contacted me asking if I would like to select a product from their amazingly fun website. I'll show you in a second. And I really could not say no. Look how fun this is. I normally go for more kind of earthy tone decor, but I really just wanted something fun, and I mean, this is definitely fun. I managed to set this all up during my lunch break, so definitely didn't take longer than an hour. Probably would have taken even less time if the cats were not in the way, but it's part of the fun, so we can't be mad. Right here you see Zeus actually voluntarily climbing into this section of the cat tree, which he's never used before in the previous cat trees because I think they were just not tall enough. This one is much kind of like longer than it is wide, so I think he loves that particular detail. Spoiler alert, they absolutely adore this. I think this is the only tree, and we had quite a few over the years, that they play with the dangly bits. I don't know how else to, like, the bits that dangle. And they still do. Editing this probably 20 days later from filming this, and they still use this every single day and actually still play with those clouds and stars. They even attack the stars that are attached, like sewn in. The quality of this is amazing. I think the cats agree. You can also check out reviews I have when I was picking an item because I wanted to see what photos looked like in like real life. I will link the website down below. I do also have a code, it's bookroast10 for 10% off, but they also constantly have sales. It's a big hit. What can I say? I love this. If I can become a cat product reviewer instead of book reviewer, you know what? I might do, although a cat roast doesn't quite have the same ring to it for a channel name. I hope you enjoyed this footage as well, and I will link this in the description bar. Our cats are big, by the way, and this tree is extremely stable, over 6 kilograms, so just for reference if you're thinking about yours. Anyway, all right. At this spot again, so you know what that means, is that I just had sprints with Patreon, but I wanted to update you on the book. I am currently 96 pages in, so almost 100. Really enjoying it, and I'm still actually, I didn't realize how far into the book I got previously, but I'm still not past the part that I've read to you last time, but I'm pretty sure like this next chapter might be it. Like I think this is where I stopped previously. But as I said, it is about a world where then there's regular people and there's witches and warlocks and demons, and all of that is secret from the mundane people. And we have the government kind of like adjacent to our like prime minister, because it is set in UK, this coven, and they basically lead the government as well. And there's different covens that are a little bit like competitors. They don't really get along too well. Some of them do, some of them don't. We already kind of touched upon a little bit on like race and gender, and I know there's probably going to be more gender from what I think is going to happen. Chats as well, which is always good to see. And basically there's this prophecy that we have like 3-4 main characters, I want to say. One of them is Helen, who is the high priestess, which is basically your prime minister of the Coven magic side of things, and gets told this prophecy about this kid bring apocalypse upon everyone, and now they're trying to get other people involved to basically solve this and get information from this kid because they're not speaking. So one of the characters is someone who used to work with Helen at HMRC, and now they don't. They're also quite like powerful. Most of the witches have like one ability, and then some is like X-Men a little bit. It's like levels, so that reminded me of X-Men a bit. So this person is like level 5 or something like that. So they have more than one ability, and that's apparently quite rare. And this kid also has even more abilities than them. At the very beginning, there's this flashback to these girls talking just before they take their witchy oaths or something like that. And one of them is a mother who's basically going to figure out how to tell her daughter that she's also a witch. I need to get the characters a little bit more in my head, but basically that's the setup, and I'm really, really enjoying it so far. There's humor, it's quite British, so it might not be for everyone as well, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I was listening to some audiobook of it, and then I swapped to read physically, and I think I'm gonna continue reading it physically a little bit now. I'll get back to you when I know more, but so far, so good.
Marvelous.
Why, Momo?
It's just an enjoyable box. Yeah. Maybe books.
Hello, I've just finished HMRC, so this book is also now done, and it's definitely, I'm gonna keep the rating until I officially talk to the Patreons, because this is the book club read, but it's definitely gonna be either a 4.5 or a 5. I'm having a great start reading wise for the beginning of 2023. Couldn't be happier. The characters were compelling. You wanted to strangle and straight up murder some, whilst you also really wanted to be friends with the other part of them. You wanted to protect certain characters and then rooted for the other characters protecting this character. It is definitely also like rage-inducing because some of the characters, it's meant to be like that though, but as obviously we have the covens and topics of belonging and friendships, and also just each character was so much themselves. They were so different and brought up so many different personalities to the coven. Some way more invested in the whole witchcraft thing, some others just wanting to be a person and witch on the side. And we have the interactions between women who would otherwise probably wouldn't even be friends. Some of them would, but others wouldn't be friends because of like very big differences in their lifestyle and also views. And seeing that dynamic explored was so interesting, and the end was also just very, like, so many things happen and so many plot twists, and we ended on not even really a cliffhanger, but we ended on something. And I think the second one for this will actually be my most anticipated release this year, because I'm pretty sure it is released in 2023. So absolutely will continue. Had a brilliant time. I was thinking I'm gonna like dress up pink for this update, but it's way too cold, so a pink hat will do. So glad I picked this up. Very glad. But that concludes our pink version. Wait, pink. Okay, so I could have had a bit more pink energy though. I've fixed it for now. But we are obviously gonna spin the wheel again. It is 17th of January, so we still have some time left. Thoroughly confused how it's already the 17th, but isn't that always the case? As always, spend 15 minutes trying for this to focus. Orange. So let me find something that can fit into orange, and very clearly though we'll be having a lot of oranges, so for food reasons. It's been a long time now, but I have two options, and I think I'm gonna put a poll what I should read. But option number one is this comic. Supposed to be pretty good, has some awards. I'm excited. I've had it for a little while, but wouldn't be too mad if it was left for like a different time because I already read two comics, but I'm also interested in this. And then another option, I don't have an overwhelming amount of orange books is what I've learned. I do have a couple, but I don't really feel like reading them like mood-wise. And the other option is actually Legend of this edition from Fairyloot. So I'm gonna put it up on a poll and just let other people decide, because that is easier than deciding myself. Where is it? Okay, it's been long enough now. So let's check what the result is. That is extremely close. One is way more well known than the other, so this has been a bit of a turn, but Legend is the next read, so let's see how that goes. Hello. So I'm actually doing quite okay with reading Legend. However, I will say I have an absolute total of 0 clothing in the color orange, so we'll have to do something else for the orange vibes, but I am already here, getting there. The story itself is very much a kind of stereotypical dystopian setting with levels of influence and power. We have, like, you know, the peasants, the aristocrats, the merchants, actually no, peasants, merchants, aristocrats, and I think then like the government people. And obviously we have two main characters from opposing places, and there's a lot of propaganda, and one of them is a rebel and the other one works for the government, and their paths very much intertwine very early on because of an accusation. And then it kind of goes both ways, but it's hilariously kind of dismissed for the severity of those accusations. They really just like sometimes forget about it. But anyway, I will say that around 40 pages mark, I feel like I already know the entire plot of the book, so I don't think this is gonna surprise me, but maybe it will. Maybe I'll be wrong. I will let you know at the end of this if I was right or not in my predictions. It does read very early YA, but surprisingly I'm actually kind of okay with that. I don't know if it will blow my mind per se, but I'm having a okay time with it. All is working out. But yeah, you know what is orange, right? Carrots. And do you know what my favorite cake is? Carrot cake. So we're gonna actually try and make carrot cake. I cannot remember if I've ever made carrot cake. It's possible, but I don't remember, so it must have been like, if I did, it was a while ago. So we're gonna go and make some carrot cake with you. Welcome to Bug Bake. Hopefully it turns out well. We have some guests coming later, so that would be, you know, good. I can't promise not to eat though on top. I also got some oranges to like put as decoration on top of it, just because more orange. So let's attempt this. It could be awful. It could be. Some people were already unfortunate enough to bake stuff with me. So we'll need 2 tins, a bunch of things, carrots. I have a big bowl, and then I think we need like 300 grams of shredded carrots. So this is what we're gonna do now. Would you say this is a small carrot? Now to line this shit up. Baking soda, a bit of salt, and a lot of cinnamon. These recipes assume that I have like and then a lot of bowls, and I don't, so. This is just sugar. Thick boy. This is a very booger texture. So this part I'm supposed to do with a rubber spatula, but I do not have a rubber spatula, so honestly, I don't know. It says to roughly chop your nuts. That'll do.
A few moments later.
Cakes are out. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So I don't actually have anything like flat, so I'm gonna use a board, I think. I feel like this needs to, oh. Oh my god. So I'm thinking to make it more orangey. Obviously I'm gonna put some nuts on top, but also maybe orange. Oh my god, if I just dropped it on top of it. So the zest was a good idea, but it's now making the frosting look a little bit yellow, which is a shame because the color was very nice white, but anyway. This is our orange project. Morning. So, I only have like 60-70 pages left, and I would actually really like to continue. Unfortunately for me, it's Sunday and I have things to do. We also had guests yesterday, hence why I'm like drained. I do really want to film a video, and it needs prep, and it needs things I don't have, so I need to go to a shop, to a shopping center nearby, and it does. But remember another orange thing that I love and I just ran out of, and it's this vitamin C. It used to be all orange, now it's like in a green glass thing, but it used to be all orange. This moisturizer, so I ran out again and I will be repurchasing because it's perfect one for daytime for me. I'm gonna go do that and not read, sadly. Oh, I really wish today I had a day where I could just do nothing and read. That'd be perfect. But I didn't film yesterday, so... But the book is actually kind of good. I mean, again, I know everything that's gonna happen. I don't think I'm gonna be surprised by anything. But I also know that these dystopians do have twists and turns later. So there might be something else I could possibly be surprised about. And that could be pretty nice. So not all hope is lost. But I'm just having a good time. Sometimes I think I just need that type of read where it's just like, it is what it is, and I'm just there for a ride, and even if I know what the road ahead is, it's just fun to have. So I think it's that kind of read, and I'm okay with that. I think I aligned with my mood for it, so going well, enjoying it. Hello. Oh, Saturday was the last day. I'm gonna talk to you while I apply this because I got an extra thing from that collection because they had like a little spend over a certain amount, get this exfoliate for free. Free. I'm the sucker for that. Anyway, I had so many plans for Sunday. However, you know, they fell through, but I did finish the book, so that's the good news. My body is just so exhausted after like I socialized for a long time, and I also didn't get much sleep, so it was just a no. My body just noped out. I completely crashed. It was a little bit frustrating because I obviously had plans, but you know, listen to your body and all. I also had to spend like 2 hours outside because I went to get these like large paper sheets for the video that's hopefully already out. Magical readathon guide for like starting. So I needed some sheets of paper for that. My nearest shop just didn't have any, and the other nearest shop is not near at all. Like at all. So I put the audiobook on though to finish off the book, and I finished it on the way back because again, it was just not close. The shop was not close. So we're finished with our orange colors, and it actually came out as 4 stars, even though again, I was correct at pretty much every assumption I made about the plot. I don't think it surprised me at any point. I think the characters were a little bit two-dimensional, but I think the predictability of the plot and some logic, especially with motivations of the characters, or just the ease between they switched between, you know, holding a grudge and not holding the grudge, that was very fast. It was very fast. And I'm obviously taking into account that these are very young people, and that is pretty common when you're young. I was young once, I remember. Peppermint Farm remembers. But even then it was a little... So that was definitely the downfall of it. My intrigue and the enjoyment, because it was so easy, and I think this has to do with me being on Hunger Games TikTok for some reason recently. It just really made me nostalgic towards those early dystopian. I think that this really scratched that itch for me. I'm gonna continue. I don't know if like immediately, but I'm going to continue. I actually enjoyed myself. In true dystopian book fashion as well, like there were deaths. You can probably predict whom, again, in true dystopian fashion. My most hated trope so far has not reared its head in, so I can't say, because I guess technically it's a spoiler or non-spoiler, but I guess it's a spoiler of like what doesn't happen. Is that a spoiler? Maybe. So I'm not gonna mention, but if you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Good stuff. But we're done with orange, and this actually is probably the most orange, although it's like peeling off. But the little bumblebee shirt is probably the closest to orange I have either way, so it's fitting that I'm wearing it now. But let's get our next book picked. We still have some time left in the month. Granted, not an overwhelming amount, but we have some, so we can probably put another book, maybe 2, depends how gripping they are and how much I read of those. Let's go and spin the wheel. Oh, navy. That is a color. Okay, I have a good couple of options, and I'm actually pretty sure what I'm gonna go with as soon as I remembered, because this was in a different room, but I remembered. So, but in the contenders, there were Hamnet, but I have since heard more mixed reviews than I've heard like at first really good ones, so I'm not sure if I want to. Same with this, which is like a thriller, and then we have The Lighthouse of Witches, but I don't currently feel extra witchy vibes, so I'm gonna go with The Last Housewives. This is by the same author who wrote In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, but from the synopsis it sounds like it could be more up my alley, and it's supposed to be very disturbing and very fucked up. So I'm excited. I'll let you know a little bit more about what this actually is once it's nice and navy underneath, so double points. But yeah, I will let you know a bit more about it once I actually get into it. Hello. I'm on like day 4 of this bloody migraine that just does not go away, so apologies for lack of the updates. I'm in my navy hoodie, and my navy activity was actually God of War. Oh, this is very obviously the wrong weapon for that. Oh, that's a new move.
A fortuitous oil spill.
Over there.
Over where? That doesn't look good. Oh, excuse you, lava man. Stop. He needs a Rennie. Which I can relate to.
That gravestone. There's a keyhole that looks to fit that.
Hold on. Prepare for battle.
Battle, wait a moment. Oh. 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 Ow! I was not prepared for battle. Jesus, it hurts so much. Like a doll to him.
I remember very fondly of it.
Where am I actually going? I can't, bitch, I'm dead. Why does she always say that? Nah, I'm not gonna do it. Bye. Actually, yeah, let's try again. Skitters! Oh my god. Slow down. The very obvious.
Quite the cash.
I finished my read and I'm here to talk about it whilst I also do a little bit of makeup. I'm all drugged up though as well, so but you know, show must go on, so here we are. I've been breaking up like crazy recently. I have a little friend here that needs taken care of, but anyway, this book was depressing. Is introspective a wrong word? The best way I can kind of even go about explaining what it is, we have this emoji at work. And I think it pretty much sums it up, but it's all about these societies of men who believe in certain type of roles determined by your sex when you are born, and the power dynamic between that, and how women sometimes will lean into that because of their previous trauma, and the way that society sends many a message still as to what they deserve and can do and cannot do and who's the alpha. And I actually think it was done really well. Like, I think it was very masterfully presented. There was a lot left unsaid, but definitely enough given for you to clearly make your own conclusions. And I love that. I love when authors take our hands and walk us through things without being like, this is an apple, this is an orange. Like, and it's not that it was ambiguous in any sense, but I do think there's a lot to read into if you're willing. I looked into a couple of, there's so much fluff. I looked into a couple reviews very, very briefly. But there seems to be like, you know, some people who are like, wow, 5 stars. Then some people who said like, oh, like you cannot tell me that there's not some glorification of this behavior. And I'm like, girl, I would like to argue that there really wasn't. That there really wasn't on this occasion. That might just be me. Some people who said that they couldn't read because of the topic. And I will praise this thing for having content warnings at the very beginning. Here they are. Absolutely very, very valid and needed. I would like to see it more. Very happy that in this occasion it was here, because truly content warning on this book. A lot of scenes were uncomfortable. There were also some people saying like, oh, why is everyone saying it's such a dark book? I didn't find it dark. I'm like, for how much the media perhaps habituated us to these things, because it should be. It definitely should be disturbing. It was something, and the pull that the woman had towards these things and the web of where it's stemming from was fascinating. I do truly feel like the best way to say how I felt about this book is that it was fascinating to me. The word enjoy doesn't quite feel right to say. It's definitely fucked up. It's like it's a fucked up book. But it's a fucked up world, not the book. It's not the book's fault. It's a fucked up world. Oh, there's so many layers. This book is an onion, dude. This book is an onion. It was 5 stars. Honestly, January has started really strong for me. I do think that we as humans see so many messages throughout like time, and the way that humanity has like the history of it all is quite something, I think. And it's not just women, it's like men are in the system as well. It's just that, and you know, it's not beneficial to some of them either. It's just that when they do choose to lean into those tales, that just don't bode well for the rest of us. I found it quite insightful, and it was disturbing, but somehow very scarily easy to understand. And that's terrifying, you know? So as I said, I found it to be a 5-star read. Would I recommend it to people? not everyone. I would be cautious of recommending this book. I think similarly to how high we go in the dark, but it really just depends on your personal boundaries and what you're comfortable reading about and what not. Obviously, that how high you go in the dark to do with all of us living through COVID and what that did to us and our psyche. And this is very much about sexism and misogyny and just the world and how it's set up and who it benefits and what sort of things happen in our brains. It's hard to talk about this without spoiling it. Although it's not a plot-driven book. It's that ending, man. That ending. I'm not gonna lie, it was satisfying. It was satisfying, it was heartbreaking. I really wonder how it ended, like after the book ended. I have a feeling not well. Just a little hunch. I need a concealer that like conceals blemishes. So if you have a good one, let me know. That's not Shape Tape. But it's the 28th of January, so I still technically kind of have time for another thing. Although even if I fail that, I'm quite happy with how much I read this time. I also read one book for work, but I can't. It's a secret, so I can't say what it is. But when it does come out, I will talk about it. I'm thinking of spinning the wheel one last time, seeing if I can actually get anything done with that. So, and I think the color that we spin, I'll try and dress for that color in the TV avatar video because that's what I want to film. It's really fun doing your makeup when you don't see well without your glasses. It's always a bit of a kinder surprise at the end. I have no hopes and no preferences. Whatever color we get, that's what we get. Okay. Yeah. Is that another pink? Did we not have pink? We did have pink. But that's okay, pink it is. Let's find another pink. I think the last pink was HMRC, which technically was kind of yellow, but pink. Can I do something pinkish for my makeup? I guess, a little bit. I don't know what the book is yet. I'll pick it in a second, but I have these that are kind of pinkish. It doesn't necessarily look the best on me though, but I found one in my drawer where the non-go-to stuff goes, even pinker one. As well as, I think this is kind of like, I think it's mauve, but whatever. Uh-oh. I'm gonna do the worst thing and say that I'll find it later. We're gonna go for this mauve, I think, in the crease. Imagine if I just did like blue eyeshadow. It would bring me back. I'm joking, I actually didn't do makeup when I was in school, so it would not bring me back, but it would bring me back in terms of other people. I feel like I really fucked up that eyeliner, but I fucked it up on both sides, so that's good. Okay, so the most pink thing is either this shirt or there is a sweater. It's more like salmon, so I think I'm gonna go for that. We have a little situation. The TV avatar is filmed and it's time to pick the pink read. So I was thinking, you know, not many days left, so maybe I'll go with this. A pink, fun kind of Zodiac Star Force comic. This is the first volume. I've never read anything from it, but then I was like, I don't know if I don't know, maybe it could be fun. But then I was like, you know what, maybe we're just gonna challenge ourselves, and I'm gonna go with this very pink book. It's Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Don't know if I like their writing. I enjoyed Caraval. I didn't enjoy Legend, but I hear that even if people didn't like Caraval series, some people really enjoyed this. And since I had kind of luck with Legend, I was thinking, you know what, maybe I'm currently on like a gentler streak with YA, maybe it's hitting okay, maybe I'm in the mood for that. So while that shit lasts, because it probably won't last very long, let's get into it, especially since now I have my February TBR and it's very much all adult, so I think it would make sense. I also didn't get any romance, so I could have squeezed that in, but I didn't quite feel it, and I think this does have a lot of romance in it, so it's like a little middle ground thing. But look at this edition. It's just so pretty. So we have some art for the characters as well, and This beautiful foil all around, these characters, just art everywhere. Different things here. And the synopsis goes as follow, because I think I should like refresh myself on that. Never make a deal with the fate. For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in happily ever after, until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Desperate to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. I know this is gonna be way more innocent and, you know, downgraded, but after reading The Last Housewife, this premise is much darker than it will be, like in my brain, because of all the themes there. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. I wonder which one. But anyway, you know, could be fun. We'll see. We'll see. Tentatively entering this. This is the moment for definitely the last book in January. The sun is making this difficult. Yes, yes. This book really throws you in there. I'm currently halfway through. The best way I can describe this book is that obviously it's very much like fairy tale vibes. It's set up like a fairy tale. It reads like a fairy tale. It's very fairy tale-esque. Outside of that, though, I would say all plot, no character. Like, it's really just thrown us in there. It was like, hold on, we're gonna do things. You cannot see me. Things just happen. I feel like I know the basics about the characters and they're, you know, like they're there, but do I know and care for the characters? Not so much. The main character is definitely feeling like a vessel through which we travel, because we do that a lot. From place to place, everything just happens very quickly. So if you are a plot-driven person, this could be perfect for, especially when you want to like almost like a palate cleanse, because it's obviously an easier read too. We start off with the girl going to make a deal with a fate, which is a big no-no, and she knows it's a big no-no, but she still does it because her stepsister is going to marry the guy that she loves and she wants to stop that. And obviously that kind of like backfires a little bit. As you know, karma would do that, but I'm sure it will be reversed and we're not gonna feel bad about it at some point. Things happen and we're there. So far, very much so, probably like low 3 stars. I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for a little bit more. This is hard because I can understand the appeal. I'm just like, when it comes to plot versus character, I love a balance, but if I had to pick, I would prefer a bit more character, and this is just like go, go, go. But I feel like we're still kind of like in a setup stage. We're still like putting those kisses in order, so 5 stars it probably will not be, but it could raise it to a 4, so we'll see. I just need to care a little bit more. Like, it's just a little bland. I'm sorry. Welcome to the last stage of this video. I have finished this, and I finished it wearing this dress that feels like it would be plucked out of the world. Unfortunately, I don't think this was for me. But with this one, I do understand why people would like it. It's very, again, easy and fast, although it didn't feel like it for me because obviously, like, time is relative, and I think it kind of feels fast when you're enjoying it, and I wasn't particularly loving this, so that was a bit of a shame, but you know, we move. I think for me, the characters were just very, very one-dimensional, even though, and I do think that a lot of the enjoyment for this particular book would come for people who loved Caraval. So this one I would say definitely spoils some stuff, even though it can still be read separately. But I think the joy would come out for those fans of the original series, because you get characters that reappear from there, so it feels a bit like Easter eggy. And I think that would add a lot of joy, which obviously didn't quite work for me. But I feel like, as I said, we are really thrown into this and everything just keeps happening. There's not really like a lot of, you know, pause and talk with one another. There's like one scene, and I probably enjoyed that the most out of the book. And that obviously tells me more about how I am as a reader rather than about the book itself. But obviously for me, this wasn't just the best. I overall struggle a little bit with books that are set up to be, you know, all I care about is to get married to like a prince or someone, like finding a true love thing. But obviously I cannot blame this book for having that theme, seeing that it is set up as a fairy tale, and fairy tales often are like that. But on top of that, I really felt like our main character chose to do the stupid thing every turn she could. Like, I just feel it really made it hard for me to take her seriously at all, because I just felt like, well, she was doing dumb stuff all the time. It felt more of a vessel through which we can experience the story than a character itself, which sometimes work, but I feel like because we didn't have other characters that I really felt like I cared about, it gave me zero things to root for. Because as much as it's like lovely to experience things and go from there to there, and then, you know, there were interesting creatures in here, or, you know, I kind of don't want to say because I don't know if it's a spoiler, but if there's no stake, well, the stakes were there, but if you don't really care about the outcome, everything else was just kind of like, okay, again. There were some fun scenes, there was some fun dialogue and times, some fun setups, and again, the familiarity from the first series is there too, so it wasn't like all bad, and again, the writing style was fun. I liked the newspaper clippings in it because I am a massive fan of multimedia type of books. Like, that formatting is one of my favorite things in the books. Like, I really gravitate towards that, so that was nice. So there, you know, there are some good bits, and I can definitely imagine, like, I can understand why people would like this. I think it was just not for me. The themes explored, not so much for me. Everything felt like extremely surface level. I don't need it to be like deep or profound, but I do need it to give me something. It does not have to be brainy, it does not have to be complicated, but I do need to care at least about one character. That is where my bar is, and I think that is where I kind of struggled with this book the most. I think it would have been a very fun book otherwise. It would have been really like, kind of like non-committal, having a fun time, having some fun banter, but I just really needed to care at least a little bit. Most importantly, almost every relationship felt like I'm told that it is there, and I am told that it is extreme and important, and that we're supposed to have this bond. I don't even mind that it is sudden, because there could be reasons for why it is. You gotta give me something after. You can't just leave it there. You can't just be like, oh, I care about this person even though there's not really a reason to. And I felt like every single relationship, even the one from before, felt that way. Like, I was just told that there's this spark and romance and something between people, and I was just supposed to believe it without like zero proof. I'm just not a fan of that. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel like I was there rooting for the characters. So it came out as 2.5 stars, and probably is the weakest of the bunch, sadly, but we did get pinged twice, and once it was definitely a good one. So in total I read, oh god 7 things, which is way more than I normally do, especially when you go and check how many pages there were, which is 2,172. We could technically take away the comic ones, so it would be like around 300 pages less. But I did actually read a secret book I can't share, and that was 420 pages, so it kind of still counts, let's say, which is way more than my usual. I think that's pretty easy to say. But if I had to kind of like rank them, this would be the last place, unfortunately. Followed 6th place would go to the Die comic. And then the rest are actually extremely strong. They were either 4 or 5 stars, so really no losers here. But I think the next one would have to be our Legend book, which I've enjoyed way more than I thought I would, and for that reason I actually picked up another YA. Didn't quite did pan out. Maybe a dystopian was the mood that I was getting. I think the next one would be Saga, which did do what it needed to do. Got me back into being excited about the series, so I'm extremely happy with that turnout. Now, these all got 5 stars. I'm gonna rank them more so towards enjoyment than overall, but all of them are very close to one another. But third place, we're gonna put the last Housewives. I think it was really well explored and it was just overall very uncomfortable, and we like that apparently. Top 2 are very hard to decide on. I think the second spot is going to go to Her Majesty's Royal Coven. Brilliant, beautiful. However, the top spot is going to go to How High We Go in the Dark. Even though I think it did suffer a little bit from not every short story being kind of consistently at the same level as the previous one, I think overall it was such a trip, so relatable, so human, so painful and beautiful and raw. I just everything that I love, pretty much, except for the very end. But it's still, despite that, is the top ones. So this is the ranking of all the books that I've read in January, and I'm actually extremely proud of myself. I think I might have read even a little bit more towards the end, but my health has gone really downhill. The beginning was very strong, and I think you can probably see that in my reading pattern. So that's a bit of a revelation I didn't want to know, considering that I'm currently in a flare-up and I don't see it ending very soon. So probably not going to read as much, but that just shows you how much health can influence everything else that you do. So bit of context, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I definitely plan on doing this type of wheel thing because it clearly motivates me a lot. I'm thinking maybe twice a year. Let me know if you would enjoy that or if it's like getting old. But I might still do it. But still let me know. But I hope you're well. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next one soon. Bye!